So on a recent bear hunt, Damon Bungard and I decided to take one of the days off and, well, just see what kind of trouble we could get into.
Close. Gosh, that was so close. But I had to like touch them.
We started off the day shooting at ground squirrels, trying to get something for lunch, and they were either too quick or we just flat out
Jumped the
missed.
string. For sure, he just jumped the string. Yeah.
After that, we decided to go fishing and practice some primitive skills, so stay tuned.
So this trail will eventually kind of get up on top, so you're looking down into a big bunch of this river bottom. We can walk across there if you want to get on the river.
Let's go catch some fish for lunch.
Yeah, go cook them up hot.
And I'm going to show you how to start a fire with a bow drill, using just what you find in the woods and a little bit of what you've got on you. So when we get to that part, I'm going to walk you through it step by step. You might learn something, so stay tuned. But in the meantime, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on what we're uploading.
Got him. There you go. Little west, what is that? West love cut? What is that?
Yeah. So there was a wildfire in this area probably 3-4 years ago maybe. It got pretty hot, crowned out, and killed a bunch of these trees. And I'm just looking for a little small lodge pole that I can use for my my handhold, my fireboard, and then also my spindle. And I think this one will work pretty doggone good. So I'm just going to go ahead and break this thing into a couple of sections so that I can fashion my my components out of it. I'm just going to split this, and then so I can use these two halves. I'm going to use the bottom half for my fireboard, and then I'm going to use the other for my handhold. And I've got this this knife by Chris Reed. It's got a really stout blade, and it'll really handle some abuse. But this is going to be my spindle. And the ends of the spindle need to be made into a point so that they'll fit into sockets that we're going to make here in just a little bit. So in a previous video that I did for Backcountry College, I showed that I always replace my boot laces with paracord. And one of the reasons is that paracord is much more durable than your standard boot laces. And it's also a very useful thing to have in the backcountry, and can be used for things like this and many other uses. You'd never get away with doing this with a regular boot lace. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to burn out both the handhold and the fireboard. Now this is just prepping things. This isn't trying to get a fire going or anything. So I'm burning those sockets out, and now I'm going to cut my notch in. The notch that you cut into your fireboard is very important. The angle of the notch, how deep it is, it has to be very clean, as in there can't be really very much jagged edges. What you're doing this for is when you spin that spindle in this thing, in this socket, it's creating hot charcoal and hot dust, and all that hot dust and charcoal is going to collect in this notch and eventually form a coal, and that coal is what you build your fire with. Now I like to cut my notch not all the way to the center of the hole, but maybe about 2/3 of the way in, and that gives you a little bit of purchase at the bottom of that notch or a bottom of that socket so that your spindle doesn't try to walk out of the knot or out of the socket into that notch. And if you've never tried it, that might not make sense, but if you give it a try, you'll see what I'm talking about. And I'm just going to collect some dry grass, some dry tinder. There's plenty of it around. It's always a good idea to grab some and then try to fuzz it up like this, because this is the little bundle that your
Little
coal
lunch
is going to go
protein.
in.
Some moose, some cutthroat.
So while I was building the fire,
If they got any
Damon
fat in
was
'em?
off catching more fish for us.
I don't know if they got them. Little bugs in them that they were eating.
Need some fat for my handhold.
So the reason I'm looking for fat, and I don't find any fat, but I do find eggs, and eggs are made out of oil, fat, and I've never tried this before, but it actually worked pretty well. And so what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to put those in my handhold socket to lubricate it. And because you don't want any friction, ideally, you don't want any friction in your handhold, just in your fireboard. So lay down your tinder bundle, put your fireboard on top. And then when you put your spindle, when you load your spindle into the bow, you got to make sure you get the right part down. You don't want to put the oily part down in your fireboard. That'd be no bueno. And you'll notice that I'm going to brace my hand and arm against my leg, and that really helps. If you get a good solid stance like that, it really helps to get things going. And it doesn't really take that long. You know, a lot of people think that friction fire is some mysterious thing, but if you practice a little bit, it's really not that hard. And it doesn't take long.
That's it.
So give that a little tap and knock that coal out right into your tinder bundle, and then basically what you're doing is you're going to wrap that very gently, wrap that tinder bundle around your coal, and then gently blow it until it just gets bigger and bigger, and eventually blow it into flames. There we go. And as always, have all your materials ready at hand. So after that fire burned down the coals, we're just kind of leveling the coals out. You can just throw the fish right on the coals, and I've done that a lot. But this day we decided just to go ahead and make a little grill out of some alder branches. Just throw them right on there.
cool. They all rolled up like that.
And here I'm just making some tongs out of a green branch.
Danger. Number one way to break a fly rod, leave it laying on the ground.
Yep.
The tongs ain't long enough.
So I had this piece of bark laying around
Make a man.
and just decided to use it kind of like a little oven. Which worked pretty well.
Looky there.
Good on the skin. Oh, you gotta eat the skin. It's good for you.
I was just joking. I was eating the skin, but actually the skin and the head is where all the fat is
That's good.
on fish.
Ooh, buddy. Looky there. Filleted him from the inside.
Alright guys, back to hunting bears. Again, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.